Hardy, 23 years and counting. Do you think Bill's job is secure as it's been recently, even the last couple of years?
No, I mean, every year you don't make the playoffs or every year you don't win a playoff game, I think that job becomes a little less secure. And in that way, Bill is like any other head coach in the NFL. Robert Kraft said as much last spring. We need to win a playoff game. That's what it is. And the drought now continues. So it's not an unlimited leash, I don't think, for Bill or for anybody.
No, I don't think the patience on Robert Kraft's end is unlimited.
Yeah.
I think those comments in March to us at the owners' meetings, I think those were meant to have some weight. They have an 8-9 season where it's a disaster on the offensive side of the ball, which is the side of the ball that matters. They have a quarterback that they believe in, that he told us that same day he feels like could be a really good player in the league, and it goes the wrong way. If it's anything resembling last season, Trenni, I think we are sitting here, a year from now, wondering if Bill Belichick's going to be the coach in 2024.
And I'm not going to lie, Phil, that surprises, because, listen, people like Hardy and I, we'll just, we'll say how we feel, right? Like, it's not necessarily based in any sort of fact. It's just like, well, he must be on the hot seat.
Hardy's sitting there.
I think you know what I mean. We're not inside. We're not down.
You know me and Hardy. We just fly off the handle, let our emotions just take over.
Yes,
well, no, but in situations like this,
yes.
You look at the facts that are presented to you and that are on the surface, which is a coach who has struggled to take the 6 Super Bowls away.
Yeah.
But since Tom Brady has left, this has been a shell of the team that it has been. And I've been on record as saying for a while now, I think that the rope is getting shorter, the leash is getting shorter and shorter and shorter for Bill Belichick. But to hear Phil say it, to me, that I love you, Hardy, but it carries a little more weight than you and I, because you're talking to people, you know what's going on inside the building.
Phil knows next to nothing. Let me tell you something, Phil. If they finish 8-9 again and miss the playoffs,
right.
We're having a real conversation. What if you finish, and this is why it becomes more nuanced.
It is.
So I don't even think
what if you finish 8-9, and part of the reason why you were 8-9 is because you had to play Aaron Rodgers with the Jets 2 times. You had to play Tom Brady in Miami 2 times. And well, what do you want? Of course we're going to lose a whole bunch more games, but you look better in the process. I mean, there at least exists some scenarios where exact same record, exact same result at the end of the season, but the team actually looked better, and they showed a lot of improvement.
Yeah, I would not expect a change there, okay? So when I say approaching last year, I mean approaching the dysfunction of last year.
Oh, that's to me, that's a given, because that all, Bill told us time and time again during the season, it all lands on me. I'm the head coach. And if we get reports, or they know, obviously, in Foxborough, long before we read the Herald article yesterday, that there was dysfunction within the building, of course.
If you lose half a dozen starters, right, for 2 months, I think that would go into the equation. I think the Crafts will look at it as they did this year, which is get to the end of the year, gather all the information that you feel is vital to make whatever decision it is that you want to make. And they made it pretty clear by releasing a statement saying, we're going to have an offensive coordinator this year. We need to make a change there. That change has been made. So I'm not anticipating that ownership's going to be knocking on Bill Belichick's door this offseason again, saying something needs to happen here further to be better in 2023. But if it's at all dysfunctional next year, again, that's different.
And that's why, I'm with you, Hardy, and this is that I think it's more nuanced than just a record, right? I think they could win 2-3 more games than they did this year. But if those wins are backlogged and they're at the start of the season and then they fall apart towards the end of the year again, or they barely get into the postseason and then they get the doors blown off them in the first round, and they're just not making progress towards catching teams like the Bills and even the Jets in Miami. To me, even if you finish with a winning record, nothing is guaranteed, because I think it all comes back to, and Phil, you've preached buy-in. But to me, buying in is buying into the system that they've always had there, which is we incrementally get better as the year goes on, and we become a more potent, difficult team as the season wears on.
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think there's also, Bill Belichick is continuing, in my opinion, to take on a little bit of risk here. Now, we don't know for sure what Joe Judge's responsibilities are going to be this year. But given the way things went in 2022, say Joe Judge, Hardy, is back on special teams, and he has a significant role there. And say at the end of the year, when they look at the special teams rankings, which they do, and that matters to them, and that's a media-based thing in a lot of ways. There's a formula there Bill Belichick has talked to us about in the past that he likes to reference. Say they're at the bottom of the league there and they end up 8-9 again. And Robert Kraft is looking at that decision, not necessarily looking at Joe Judge, the individual, but he's looking at Bill Belichick saying, this guy didn't have a great year last year, and then you decided to keep him on and put him in a real important role, and we ended up not having a great year in the spot where you trusted him to take a lead role. That would, I think, go a long way in the wrong direction for Bill Belichick.
And especially with special teams, Phil, because whether it's Joe Judge or Cam McCord back there, it really speaks to a philosophy within the team. You know, the only way things go that poorly on special teams is dysfunction, with boneheaded plays, with laterals, with allowing 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns, just boneheaded mistakes that we're not used to seeing from this team. And that speaks to, yes, execution and players on the field, but also the coaching. Why was it that those guys felt emboldened to try that lateral in Las Vegas?
It's preparation.
Yeah, and it has to do with the whole coaching atmosphere. So, I think that's a given. If special teams are that bad again, it speaks to the overall coaching vibe in that building, and it's going to land on Bill no matter who the special teams coach.
Well, guys, Bill Belichick is only 18 wins shy of tying Don Shula for the most wins all time. So if all goes well, he could pass Shula sometime in 2024. I mean, is it worth it, in your opinion, Phil? Like, should this be a milestone that we care about as Patriots fans? Like, hey, Kraft, let him stick around, let him get that so he's a Patriot and he passes Don Shula.
I'm not sure it is. Like, whether it should or shouldn't be, like, the sense that I get, I'm not sure there are a lot of fans that really care about that. And it would surprise me if it was a significant determining factor in deciding who's coaching your team or not, if you're ownership. If you feel like it's going in the wrong direction, then it's going in the wrong direction, whether or not there's a record that's coming up party. That's how I feel about it. I don't
know what sports record people do care about anymore. The last one that I would hold on to for, what was the home run record, and that's been kind of, soiled now in a lot of people's minds. Coaching record, all-time wins for a head coach, impossible for me to care less. Now,
I know.
Now, I'm sure Bill Belichick cares, but in terms of, does Robert Kraft care about it? Yeah, they understand the history of the game and they're fans, but to the detriment of your team? No, there's no way they would care.
They care about it if he's winning and he's advancing his team in the playoffs, and then they can tout it as that he's put together these wins again, but they don't care if he's just like siloing away a couple of wins. Okay, guys, we're going to get into a little game. And the first question I'm going to ask you before we get into the real game portion is one-word answer.
Yeah.
Is Bill Belichick still a top 5 coach in the NFL?
I think he is. I've talked to players that believe he is, even after last season, even after the last couple seasons.
Yes?
Yes.
Hardy?
Yes, number 5.
Well, let's play a game of Is he better than?
Wow,
all right, that's good.
I wrote down my answers here. We're going to keep. I'm standing up for this. I have like a game show host mark. Yeah.
I feel like we've kind of been like ambushed.
Yeah, this was.
You're
not
on a game
rundown.
show. It's a hidden camera. Okay, are you better than Bill? Sean McDermott. Is Bill better than Sean McDermott?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I wrote no. Mike McDaniel.
Yes.
Yes.
I wrote yes. John Harbaugh.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Mike Tomlin.
Yes, but I like Tomlin more and more with each passing year.
I have no problems with Tomlin. I'd say they're neck and neck.
I said no, neck and neck. All right, Zach Taylor.
Yes.
What? Really?
Yeah, I'm going yes here too.
No, I'm going no. I'm all about the offensive coaches, yo. Mike Vrabel.
Yes.
I just loved how a yo slipped out. You get Trenni a prop and let her stand up and run a game show. Things get wild. Mike Vrabel.
Just say yes.
Oh, so you're hedging.
Mike Vrabel, I think, is great, and I think the last couple of years he's probably edged out Bill Belichick.
All right, I was no as well. Doug Peterson.
I'm going Belichick.
No, Doug Peterson's. I'll put Peterson ahead of Belichick.
Interesting.
Oh, so I put that as a push that I needed more information. I need to see how Jacksonville does going forward.
Have a job last year.
Andy Reid.
I got to give it to Andy Reid.
Yep.
I still can't with Andy Reid. He's got the best quarterback in the history of football, or a guy who's kind of tracking that way.
Well, so did Bill Belichick, and what happened after Tom Brady left to Bill Belichick. So, Andy Reid, you get my vote. You are not better anymore, Bill Belichick, than Andy Reid. Brian Daboll.
Belichick.
Belichick.
Oh, no, I'm going Dayball. I'm way harder on Belichick.
Some of these names, I'm shocked some of these names are even on here. I know Nick Sirianni's had a great year, but like, are we really having that discussion? And I'm trying to remove resume from it.
It's right now, Nick Sirianni.
With the same team, I'm taking Bill Belichick.
Me too.
I'm taking Nick Sirianni. Sean McVay.
I would have said Sean McVay 10 times out of 10 up until this season. I'm going with Bill.
I'm taking Belichick too. He's in the top 3 still.
McVay at it.
I'm taking Belichick over McVay as well. Last but not least, the guy Bill Belichick wanted to be, Kyle Shanahan.
Did he want to be Kyle Shanahan? He wanted parts of his offense. It was a little different. He liked his dad a lot.
Hey, it's a game show. Let's play. Let's go with
Give me the argument against Kyle Shanahan right now.
The argument against Kyle Shanahan is that he's a great play caller. He's a great offensive mind. He's not a real head coach because he has botched ends of game situations time and time again as well.
How did the end of so many games go this year for the Patriots? I'm asking you to live in the moment. I am taking Kyle Shanahan over Bill Belichick. Survey says, how did we figure? Do we tally him up? I don't know. Where am I?
Nobody was counting.
Hardy and Phil say yes, he's still top 5. I'm going no, guys. I'm saying he has slipped out of the top
Peterson?
5.
Nick Sirianni?
I did not go with Doug Peterson.
I really like Peterson.